Well, kids across the Arklatex are heading back to school this week, and while you're getting back in a routine, don't forget about the most important meal of the day, which is
breakfast.
Yes,
but it's easy to forget about, especially if you're busy. Maybe just run out of the house and get something later. I'm guilty of that almost daily.
Right, and especially when you're getting back into school and you have to wake up earlier,
Ugh.
It's really easy to just forget about it and maybe put it on the back burner.
Right.
But studies actually suggest that if kids eat breakfast, they perform better in school, they have better focus, they perform better on standardized testing. So it does actually have some merit to it.
And we're talking breakfast, we're not talking about fast food or something like that. I assume
Right.
that's not as beneficial for you. I mean, it's not like just eating something is good. You need to be mindful about what you're eating in the beginning of the day.
Yeah, which in some cases I would argue having something is maybe better than nothing,
Okay.
but instead of relying on a fasted brain and body
Right.
to go throughout the day. But there are some things that might be an easy fix to where it's maybe even easier to make it at home versus
Right.
running through the drive-through. And really, kids will know what I'm talking about as soon as you see this. This is our MyPlate.
Okay.
If you remember, Alex, the food pyramid growing up and all the posters that you would see maybe in the lunchroom, well, now they've replaced it with the MyPlate. And this is something that adults can apply to their own eating habits as well. Making half of your plate really colorful with fruits and vegetables, having a quarter of your plate grains or whole grains, which have a little bit more fiber associated with it, and then a quarter of your plate protein or lean protein sources, and then a side of dairy or a dairy alternative is also important. And so that's kind of what we have here. We have some options that we're going to break down real quick, and some fun options, because when you're dealing with kids, a lot of times you might have a picky eater. And so when you make it fun, it might be a little bit more enjoyable.
And that's what I was going to ask next. If you're trying to get these healthier options, but you do have a picky eater, it seems like we have some creative ways here to kind of, not necessarily trick them, but to kind of trick the mind as to maybe I'm having a donut, but it's not a donut. And it does look like it from this angle.
Yeah, so it's actually apple donuts.
Okay.
So it's got a crunch, and you've got yogurt on top of an apple that's been the core's been taken out, so you've got that hole there where like a donut.
Yep.
And you've got peanut butter for a plant-based protein. Greek yogurt is going to have a little bit more protein as well. And berries to top it off, or granola, or chocolate chips, or some people maybe even want to use like hazelnut chocolate, like what is that? The Nutella.
There you go.
But the Greek yogurt is going to be a little bit more protein centered, so that's going to stay with your child a little bit longer.
Yeah, so this is not frosting.
Right. Yeah, that's for us. We're trying to limit our added sugar intake.
Right.
And this can also serve as obviously a snack too, because it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
So you can have that on the side of something as well. But you can have a couple of those slices or donuts, apple donuts, to have a filling breakfast.
Yeah, and even got the sprinkles on one of them.
Yeah, so that makes it more fun. I know when I was a kid, I was like, sprinkles made everything taste better. Even though they don't really have a taste.
I was going to say, when you start to realize that they're not really, they're just colorful.
Right.
I've obviously been looking at this over here.
Yes.
A popular snack for me when I was a kid was the bagel bites.
Exactly. That was the play.
They come in a little tray. You pop them in the microwave, and then they're too hot. You burn your mouth. This looks like a much more substantial way to enjoy a treat like that.
Yeah, and it's very easy. I mean, I literally made these this morning in probably 10 minutes. And you've got whole grain English muffins, so you're getting your whole grains, and then you've got mozzarella, which also have your good calcium and protein as well, good source of fat as well as, and Canadian bacon is also actually a leaner source of protein, so low fat, high protein, because it's coming from the back of the pork versus like the fattier parts. So you get a little bit more protein there. And then other things to keep in mind, you can always add more color, whether that's like spinach, or you can make it more breakfast friendly, adding an egg on there as well. So this is really a blank canvas. I kind of just showed like your most generic way to do it, and then you can make it your own depending on what your kid likes.
Right. Now, if I'm looking for breakfast in the morning, I'm going for something like this, a little parfait action, the yogurt, the fruit, the granola. To me, that's the quintessential breakfast meal.
I agree with you, Alex. This is probably one of my favorites, and it's so easy. I mean, I made it a little fancier by layering it, but you can just literally, put your yogurt in there and then put your toppings and then mix it all together. But we have blueberries and granola as the option here. But really, this is again a blank canvas. You can add whatever kind of favorite color that you like, whether that's berries or other kind of fruit. Crunch. Typically, if you don't have any texture issues, a crunch is something nice to add.
Right.
In there, maybe some honey, cinnamon, or chia seeds, flax seeds to get a little bit more fiber in there as well. So here's some options here. All of these are on our website at ktbs.com/health or /back to school. You can find it there. But yeah, make sure you're prioritizing your balanced plate. Lots of color to start with. And my favorite piece of advice to give is focus on what you can add to your child's plate, or if you're an adult, focus on what you can add to your plate versus take away. And a lot of times that feels like you're having a little bit more freedom, more fun with food. And
well, we're talking about doing this for the kids heading back to school, but I mean, we could enjoy all of these things and it would be beneficial to us.
Absolutely, yeah. It applies to kids, but also adults. So yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes the adults want sprinkles too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And also too, it is a better option for you health-wise, but this kind of stuff for kids, so much more fun than just a traditional bowl of cereal.
Absolutely, and it might actually stick with you a little bit more. Like I've tried to provide more high fiber options, and fiber starting as early as you can to get more fiber in your diet not only helps give you a healthy gut, and I always say what you feed your gut is what you crave, and a lot of times you have that connection with your brain and your gut, and that just helps them to become and grow into healthier adults.
All right, so I'm going to reveal a secret to our viewers here. Maybe not necessarily a secret, but the way things work. If they send you awesome topics with awesome food options, then I then get to eat those awesome food options. So
yes,
it's very important that you reach out to Courtney here.
Send some bad options.
Patrick's saying to send some bad options.
We don't talk.
We'll give those to Patrick.
And he can eat it too. Now, if viewers want to help me out and set me up with some good meals here in the 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock,
absolutely. I think most people don't maybe know that I'm also a dietitian. So if you have a topic or question you'd like me to cover, you can definitely send us an email at pressreleases@ktbs.com. I love to hear from you.